What's up, guys? We are back with another review, taking a look at something new, something a little bit early, and something that is just, well, very seasonal and themed to my lighting right now, too. We have got the next entry in the Figura Obscura line that the Horsemen sent over for me to take a look at. This is Father Christmas. Now, for the uninitiated, the Figura Obscura line is a subline for Mythic Legions that incorporates Legion's parts, but gives us new stuff, and is also their way of pulling in folklore, myths, legends from the real world into the toy line. So you get things like Krampus, or you get things like Headless Horseman, and now we get Father Christmas, a very traditional interpretation of Father Christmas. This isn't your Coca-Cola Santa Claus. This is Father Christmas in a more traditional setting. Now, one thing that I really like about these releases is the packaging, and that's normally not something I focus heavily on with Legions, but these are ultra premium, and they are meant for display if by chance you just don't want to take them out. So you've got to start with this really impressive outer chipboard sleeve, which just has tons and tons of Nate Barch artwork. So you've got Father Christmas like trudging through the snow in a very Thomas Kincaid-esque style landscape and village setting. And then you've got a historical kind of bio on the back of the chipboard. I love these. It just makes it seem a little bit more impressive. But what's really cool about these is that this is its own separate thing. So it's magnetized, and it'll clamp onto the box. There's magnets all over it, on the spine, the whole 9 yards. But you can take this off, and if you wanted to, you've got yourself a little, backer display. So you've got another piece of Nate's artwork here that sort of gives us this idyllic Christmas village setting. And then we've got our actual box here, which is pretty similar to what we've seen with things like the Krampus. So you've got the figure there in the window. We've got the Father Christmas nameplate down on the bottom. And then more of that peaceful, serene, Christmassy style landscape that wraps around this box. I really love the packaging here. I hate to take these out because they just look really cool, but we got to do it. So let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package. Figura Obscura Father Christmas, a very interesting release, to say the least. Not only is this a very seasonal figure, I mean, this is something that can go right on your Christmas display. He's got a really cool little feature that I know some folks have been looking forward to. There are some surprises in this package, which I will not be spoiling. I'm going to get that out of the way right now. I'm not going to spoil the surprises, just so you can experience that. It's obviously Christmas, let's have a little fun with it. When you get this guy in hand and you see the surprises in his little satchel, in his bag, you're going to be excited for him. But this is also a return to 2.0 style figures, and he has a really cool part that we're definitely going to have to talk about. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He is, like I said, he's a 2.0 figure. He is entirely covered in robes. Let's get that out of the way. He has a massive beard. I mean, it goes down to his crotch, basically. He's Santa Claus. It's normal. So we've got some up. He's obviously not going to be able to look down. You've got your tilt. You've got some rotation. Arms out at the shoulders. They do rotate. Of course, the robes are going to hinder him from doing a full 360, but he can do what he needs to do. We've got our... Let's pull this up here so I can make sure I don't snap this arm off by twisting it the wrong way. We've got our single jointed rotating elbow. You got swiveling gauntlets because he's a battle Santa, right? He's got to have some armor under there. We've got hinges. We've got rotation at the wrist. If you've messed with a standard male 2.0 figure, you know exactly what you're getting here. You've got that diaphragm swivel. It's up there. He's cinched at the waist by a belt, though. So there is going to be some hindrances when it comes to articulation. I don't exactly know that that's going to matter for a lot of folks, but I'm going to point it out. He's still going to be limited just because of the fact he does have a lot of clothing. But he's Santa. I think it's okay. I'm not too upset about that. Legs are going to go out. Let's get some of this out of the way. Legs are going to go out pretty far still. Not much issue there. Kick forward, normal. Backwards. You've got your thigh swivel up there. Single jointed swiveling knee as usual. So you got a little swivel there. We've got swivel at the ankle. You got really nice rocker. Santa needs to pivot. And he's got hinges down there too. So, I mean, it's normal. It's everything you would expect it to be for a Mythic Legions figure. And of course, that added little difference of him being a 2.0 figure does change up the articulation scheme a little bit. But it's still par for the course. The only real, I'm not even going to call it a negative, the only difference here is that, well, he's covered in robes, and he's always going to be covered in robes unless you want a naked Santa Claus, and it is going to hinder some movement. just around that torso, but otherwise, he's pretty normal. Beyond articulation, though, I think what's truly important with this figure, and I mean, I say this a lot with Legions, well, in general, I think, is the visuals and the idea that they're trying to sell, because he is the most different when it comes to the Figura Obscura so far. And I say that in a sense that you can stick a Krampus or a Headless Horseman in your Legions display, and they're going to look fine there. They're going to look like they belong. He doesn't necessarily give off that vibe, and that's not what this line is meant for. It is its own thing. So what they've given us is a Santa Claus, essentially, that you could just put out on display for Christmas, and he's going to look pretty tremendous. And I think that's definitely going to be a selling point for people, is that this is a very traditional, folklore-rich Santa that people who maybe don't collect Legions might just want to get because of what it represents, not what line it comes from. I think there's two key areas outside of all the stuff that's in this box that really matter with this figure, and I think it's quite obvious. It's the jacket and it's the head sculpt, because you can't see anything else. And there are 2 layers of soft goods here, and there's still a figure underneath, and we're going to get to that, but I want to focus on what you can see right out of the box. This jacket is just tremendous. It's easily one of the best soft goods items that we have gotten in the line. It is wired, so there's wiring all along the rim. You know, if Santa needs a little windswept look as he's trudging through your display, you've got the ability to do that. There are these purple underrobes here, which I do like, because of course it does hide that body. So you can have your battle Santa later, but he's got his work clothes on right now. He's got 2 big pockets here that you can put, you know, little doodads or gifts in there. All of the piping and all this embroidery on it just looks tremendous. I think it's fantastic. It fits him really, really well, too. The only area that I have of concern with the fit on this jacket and the figure in general is this belt. So this thing cinches on the back at this pouch, and it's just really tight. If you move him too much or too harshly, I suppose, it's just going to pop apart. That's about it. Mine was undone in the package, so it does pop apart fairly easy, but as you can see, it's not going anywhere at the moment. Maybe just a little word of caution, but the soft goods are frankly tremendous. I think they are incredibly well done, and the head sculpt is really nice. This again is, I mean, it's kind of obvious that it's a Santa type of character, but it also could work for, well, just a wizard, really, depending on what you want to do with the parts that you're getting here, because of course when it comes to Legions, that's the name of the game, is swapping things around and making things your own, really. But this head sculpt looks great. The beard is humongous. It's gray, and it's got all that white wash and dry brushing in there. The expression on his face is, you know, almost like he's just like an old wizened man, you know, as he's just sort of trudging along there. The one thing that I will say about this, and this is something I've done to myself at this point, is that I can't not see in this head sculpt the old man from Home Alone. I'm sure you've seen Home Alone, the old man that Kevin is deathly afraid of. I can't see his face. I can't not see his face in this head sculpt. It's really doing something to me. But I think it's a really tremendous head sculpt. Detail is fantastic. There's slight shading under his eyes that look really good, and those eyes have a nice sort of blue hue to them. One thing that we do have to mention, though, how does this head connect? So this is a 1.0 head sculpt. This is a 2.0 body. So they have given us a lot of new stuff in this package, and one of the things that, you know, if you're not readily tearing things apart or are in the know on every single thing Legions, this is new. So this is a 2.0 peg that pegs into the body, but it's a 1.0 ball. So this head can go on 1.0 figures, and you can put other 1.0 heads on this 2.0 style body, because normally they are incompatible because the peg sizes are different, which I think is fantastic. I know that's something some folks have been looking for a while, just to be able to, you know, make the swapping even more robust. But they have given you that option, and of course you can take that peg out of there and put it on another figure if you want to take your swaps even further. So I think he looks great, you know, just right, fresh out of the box. But he does have more to discuss underneath. So Santa's done, Father Christmas is done, he's had a long day. A busy day, obviously. He's home, he's ready to unwind. He's got his jacket off, and he's got his underrobes here. And this is just a non-wired fabric robe that sits over top of him. Fully Velcro, though, so you can pop it off really, really easily. And you've got your Battle Santa underneath here. So like I said, this is a 2.0 body, and he's like chocolate brown. So all of the body, except for the shins and the feet, are like this chocolate brown color. And then the shins and feet are sort of like a gray, like a stone almost. And this is really interesting because this, of course, is how we're going to start seeing the Poxus wizards when they are disrobed. So this gives us an idea kind of how they're going to work, because they're a similar construction, similar idea. So you've got, a wizard's head on top of a 2.0 body, which I think is pretty cool. Now, of course, that begs the question, assuming I don't already know the answer, is the same neck peg in use on those wizard characters? I guess we'll find out soon enough. But he doesn't have a whole lot going on under here. But of course, for the crazed Legions community that's going to tear apart figures, this is what you're going to get once you strip him down. So you've got your fancy work clothes, you've got your after hours, little robe, and then he's got his battle gear for when he needs to go take down all the bad kids. Now, as far as accessories goes, Father Christmas has a lot of stuff. He's got stuff for himself. He's got stuff for others. That's the name of the game, right? He's got a whole Christmas tree. He's got some things that you can change him up with to start with. So we've got an extra head here, and we've got more soft goods. So you've got this sort of cowl and hood. The hood is wired, and it sits down really, really well. I'm really happy with that. Hoods are, usually kind of messy to get them to sit correctly or to get them to fold down correctly. This sits really well. It's just a separate piece. You take the head off, you put this on, you put the head over top of it, you're done. We do have another head sculpt here as well, and I thought the only difference here was the beard. The beard is obviously shorter, but the heads are not the same overall. They have similar expressions, it's the same guy, but this one has more rosy cheeks, and he's got fatter cheeks. Kind of like a more stereotypical Santa Claus versus a more gaunt, old, wizened Father Christmas, I suppose. So you've got that. I'm really happy with that. We've got these sort of like holly crowns that you can sit on his head. We've got two of them. They appear to be basically the same. So you've got those. And you can have, if you've got the hood down, you can do something like that, which I think is pretty cool. I do like that. We've got, I don't know, let's see the kind of gifts he's got. He's got a little doll here. So you can, like I mentioned, he does have these big pockets, so you can put toys and things in these pockets. So this is like one of the things I mentioned that I'm not entirely sure if this is ever going to be incorporated into Mythic Legions, but, we've got this on the tooling now, right? We've got a drum, and this thing actually fits on his belt. There's a little hook here, and you've got a drum, which looks great. You can give this to one of your orcs and have them lead the legions into battle if you want to get crazy like that. But I think it's really cool, and it does sit on this belt really, really well. Like, that's not going anywhere. We've got his staff, which I'm really happy with, and the lantern that hangs from it. This thing is massive, by the way. It's at least 2 inches taller than the figure. It's an old gnarled piece of wood, but then this really patinaed lantern with the candle inside and the translucent plastic just kind of sets the scene, sets the idea behind what's going on here. I think it looks great. I'm really happy with this staff. And of course, if you wanted to give that to somebody else, it could just be a staff. It doesn't have to have that lantern on it. We do get another type of satchel. This is a singular sculpted piece with a bunch of toys just spilling out of it. If you want to have him, throw this over his shoulder. So you've got a teddy bear, you've got drumsticks, you've got a nutcracker, we've got a trumpet, we've got a candy cane, a lion, a book, some balls, all kinds of stuff in there. So very classic, traditional toys in here. You're not going to see like a Ninja Turtle or a He-Man in there, of course, but I think this looks great. The sculpt is tremendous. There is a ton of paint detail all over this too. We get another bag back here. I'm going to open this because it doesn't have the surprises anymore. I have taken those out. So you do get a bag. It's just like a standard, like a burlap sack, basically. And we've got more stuff. So we got a trumpet in here. We've got a ducky. Again, more stuff I don't expect to see in the realm of Mythos, but it's cool to have this stuff for this particular figure. And you've got a like a little dog. I guess these are supposed to be like stuffed animals, basically. So we've got those. And again, back to this bag. So he does have 2 surprises in here. When you take this out of the box, this is going to have your 2 surprises. I'm not going to spoil it now. Just be aware that they're in there and you're going to love them. I was not expecting them, and they were honestly cooler than what I thought we were going to get. I didn't really know what it was going to be, but the stuff you get in that bag, you're going to be happy with, trust me. Especially if you got multiples of this guy. And then lastly, we do get this little mini Christmas tree. And this is kind of weird. Like, I honestly, for someone like me who doesn't really do a lot of dioramas or any of that kind of stuff, I don't know what I'm ever going to do with this, but I know people are going to make use of this really well. So you've got, it's flocked too, so watch out. You're going to send this stuff everywhere. You got a little flock tree. There is a little stump, so you'll kind of screw this down into this log right here, basically. Took me a minute to get that, and then you got this little snowdrift to peg that in. It is really small, so you're going to have to work to maybe set that scene, but just to, you know, have this here, put the toys around it, that kind of thing, if you want to have some sort of a little Christmas display while you got your Santa Claus there. You know, this is a child's tree. Maybe that's the best way to think about it. It's a kid's tree there, you know, whatever you're going to do with it. But I think he comes with, honestly, just a tremendous array of accessories. There is so much stuff here. I know it's not traditional stuff that we would get with most toy lines, but it absolutely works with this figure. It's very thematic. It all very much sets the scene and gives us an idea that this is, of course, an action figure Santa Claus. And there's just so much stuff that you've got here that you can change up his look, change up the head sculpt, put the extra soft goods on him. Love this staff. Can't stress that enough. There's just a lot in this package to really beef up this figure. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this guy. Honestly, I'm a lot happier than I thought I was going to be. And that's not even taking into consideration the little bonus pieces that we got. I was really unsure of exactly how much I would enjoy a Santa Claus figure, because Christmas stuff isn't exactly something I go after hard when it comes to toys. I have some, but it's not a big thing for me personally. But this guy is just tremendous, and it comes down to the quality. Really, it comes down to the quality and all the stuff that we're getting. The soft goods, I can't stress it enough. They have to be the best we've gotten in this line so far, and they really set a standard because they absolutely make this figure. The head sculpts are tremendous. I love the inclusion of that new neck peg. I think people are going to absolutely love that. There is a ton of accessories here, and yes, a lot of them are themed to this particular release, but you can use that staff elsewhere. You can use your bonus items elsewhere for sure. You can use that drum. You can give Arethyr a little elf doll if you want. You can get weird with it. You can use this stuff all over the place, and it's the same Horseman quality that you've come to know and expect at this point. They absolutely killed it from beginning to end. Box, figure, presentation, all of it. It's tremendous. I love it. I'm really happy with this figure. I'm going to put him with the Krampusi, whatever they are, together, and we're going to have a nice little holiday display. So that's going to do it for this look at the 4 Horsemen Studios Figura Obscura Father Christmas. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.